Okay, so let's see what else we got. Okay, I haven't noticed anybody using the Fathom, Fathon dot video. It's a recorder that a lot of people are using on webinars. And what's great about it is it'll transcribe the webinar for you. And if you're looking for just one specific thing, like when did he mention tax deeds, it'll find it for you. I've never used it before, but a lot of people in the group seem to swear by it. And I think it's something that you might want to look at if you want to don't have to worry about taking notes all the time. So again, it's Fathom, Fathom dot video. If you want to download that or figure out how to work it, and perhaps it'll help you with your note taking and stuff. Okay, so let's see what else. Okay, so if you're on this webinar, you either want to buy a foreclosure as an investor someday, you want to buy a foreclosure as an individual end user, maybe sooner than later. I don't know. So we have programs within the Get Money Network to help you get your goals achieved. So if you'd like to either buy something at the sale now, or if you'd like to become an investor, we have programs to help you get to where you want to be. And of course, you just want to listen free. That's cool. I meet twice a month, the first and third Thursdays of the month, and I do my little gig. And on the second Thursday, we have our meetup meetings in Orlando. And if you want to find out more information about anything or anybody that I'm talking about, please contact the person who you got the email from. It's probably going to be Jackie or Gracia. And if you get something from them, you can contact them by email, text, whatever choice you prefer to decide or get some help with whatever your questions are. Okay, with that said, let's see. Oh, yeah, also Jackie runs a group called Transformational Tuesday. And I think she does that for people that are looking for, oh, hey, there she is, Jackie. And she does that for people that are looking for information to help you, with your journey or wherever you're going. And if you have investor questions and all kind of stuff like that. But if you contact Jackie, and I think she's put something in the chat. Jackie, would you do me a favor and put your email address that you want anybody to that's attending, if they have any questions about anything I talk about, would you drop that in the chat for me, please? Now that I see you, I know you're traveling. I hope you're getting some sleep. Okay, so here we're going to get started. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to go over docket sheets of selected cases that I find interesting. Now you guys are going to, you probably want, if you don't know me, I find things that are unusual, interesting. So it'll all be about these foreclosure cases, these four that I have. So I've pulled them up so you don't have to watch me struggle doing that. So let's just see, this is my first one. So the way to get to this is you go to the clerk, you hit search, case records, you enter in the case number, and I'm not going to do it again because I did it on purpose to keep you from having to watch me do it. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. Here we go. This is the first case number, and you can see this is the style or the description. It's got the plaintiff and the defendant's name. It's got the type of foreclosure it is. This stuff over here is not going to matter to you. This is the case number. 2024 is the year that the case was filed. CC means that it's county court. CA would mean it's circuit court. And what that means is the jurisdictions in circuit court are higher than county court. And this one here, you can even see the jurisdiction for the foreclosure up to 15,000. So if the claim, the principal amount, not including interest, if the principal amount is 15,000 or less, you'd be in county court. And the difference between county court and circuit court is really time. If you do things through the circuit court, it takes time. Those judges are way busier than the county court judges. So you can get access to hearing dates a lot quicker than circuit court. So these three or four we're going to be talking about, they're going to all be condo association liens. And I picked these for a reason, and I'll tell you about it why I did as we get into it. But county court moves faster. And if you know anybody, or if God forbid you're ever in foreclosure, make sure you file an answer, because you'll see that the cases that we're going to go over, that if the defendant failed to file an answer, man, that file gets hot tracked right to the sale date. So let's go ahead and open up the first one. You see this one, it kind of lights up there a little bit. So I know. Don't tell me I'm supposed to be hitting on that, but it's just not. My mouse for some reason has been funky over the last couple of days. Okay, good. So now they're taking, I must have been here too long. So what I wanted to prevent, I just started up again. Okay, so let's go to case records and we're going to go to case number and it's going to be, hold on, 2024 CC 007 965 and the letter O. I'm not a robot. Search. There we go. That's where we were, but it must have timed out with the clerk's office. I get a little silly about stuff like that sometimes. Okay. So this is the first page you're going to see. This has got the parties. Here's the plaintiff, condo association, and there's the plaintiff's attorney, and there's her phone number if you want to call her. Here's the defendant, Douglas Houston, and any unknown persons in the possession. That's just the legal talk for everybody else. Okay, so the plaintiff, we all know the plaintiff is the one that's complaining. The defendant is the one that's defending the foreclosure action. So that's how I remember it. I hope you figure out a way to remember it yourself. Okay, so we're going to go all the way down to the bottom because in Orange County, the bottom is where it starts. So this case was filed on 4/25/24, and the first thing that shows up is going to be the civil cover sheet. That's not going to be something that you, as a foreclosure investor or somebody interested in foreclosures, that's not something you're really going to need to look at. Now, the complaint is something that you always need to look at, and we'll go ahead and open it up and take a look and quick see. You can learn a lot of interesting information inside the complaint. I'm not going to read it verbatim, but essentially the lawyer does all their work and they lay it all out so that the judge can understand what's going on. One of the most important features the attorney has got to get right is the legal description, because everything in foreclosure starts with the legal description. So if that's screwed up, there's ways to fix it, but the attorney doesn't want to spend his time or at least talk to his client about how he has to bill them because he screwed up the legal description. Okay, so they'll go on and they make the general allegations. Um, Talks about a lien foreclosure. Now, those of you that are anybody that's new to foreclosure investing, you probably don't realize this, but you're going to learn it that a condo foreclosure can foreclose out a second mortgage, but they cannot foreclose out a first. That's just the way it is. That's the law. And it makes complete sense if you think about it, because if you could foreclose out a first, would you want to be the bank that loaned money on this condo if you could be foreclosed out by a condo association? Absolutely not. So that's why the Florida legislature wrote, and it has a statute number that I'm not prepared with, but the first mortgagee cannot be foreclosed out by a lien foreclosure. The second mortgage can, but not a first mortgagee. So that's just the way that's the story of that. If anybody has any questions about anything I come up with, let me know, and I'll try to drill down on it a little bit because I don't want to lose you right out of the box. Okay, so this is just all the stuff that goes in. There's damages. So essentially, what the attorney is saying is that we're owed money, and you haven't paid in so long. And here's the declaration of condominium. This is a document that is recorded, and it's recorded before the building even breaks ground. So it has priority on every other lien. And that's the reason that the attorney for the association will always refer to the condominium documents that are recorded. So that puts them in first place ahead of everybody except for a first mortgage. Does anybody have any questions about this squirrely little topic? Doesn't appear that we do. Okay, on we go. So this is the complaint. This is what shows up in the docket sheet. Right after that is the list penance. Now, those of you that are going to be working pre-foreclosure, you're going to want to spend time finding out where list penances are recorded. They're obviously recorded in the public records in Orange County, but there's a way to look them up to do it right, and there's a way to look them up to chase your tail. So, but this is the first indication that anybody in the public realm recognizes that there's going to be a foreclosure filed. And you see it gets e-filed with the clerk, and there's not even a case number on it yet. So you're going to have to figure out a way to get the case number. There's ways to do it. That's not what this class is about tonight. So let's just see the LP. Okay, anything else that's important? Okay, what we have here now is these are summons issued electronically. So it's a summons and a complaint. So what they're going to get is inside the summons, they're going to have a copy of the complaint and the summons. And the summons is a request to file an answer. Now, this is something that when you start buying, some of this stuff is going to become more important than others. But here's a case number, and it just says you have 20 days to file an answer, 20 calendar days, which is whenever you're writing real estate contracts, you should always use calendar days and not work days. Work days? No, I use week work days. I forget now, but that's a story for another day. But you have 20 calendar days to reply to this lawsuit, and if you don't, you run the risk of being foreclosed, defaulted out, and that's not anything that anybody that's in foreclosure wants to do. If I say it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. If you're in foreclosure, file an answer. If you don't know how to file an answer, go into a foreclosure action that someone else filed against somebody else and copy their answer. Just do something. Don't just stick your head in the sand. Okay, let's see. What's the next thing? So we got the summons is going out. Summons issued electronically. And now the summons are coming back. So what that means is that this person they filed an answer. So let's take a look and see what that is. It's a summon being returned unserved. Okay, so they couldn't find anybody to serve this to because they were looking for the unknown spouse or the any unknown parties. There are no unknown parties, and he's not married, so they're going to go ahead and just default him out because every party that's listed in the action has got to be adjudicated. In other words, we've got to name them, we've got to serve them. If they don't exist, then we have to drop them as a party because the judge and the clerk want to make sure that everybody gets their day in court. Okay, so I'll stop when something's interesting. Okay, so this is interesting, and I think this is just for Orange County, although every county has something like it. That there's some sort of a foreclosure mediation program that you try to get the defendants to go into. I don't know who notifies the defendant, but these are the choices that they have. But this RFP has been unable to contact all the defendants. So maybe it's the people in that program that try to help the people that are in foreclosure, and that's a good and noble service. But they couldn't find anybody, so they're going to go ahead. The attorney's moving forward now. Here, let's see what this is. So we've got our default entered by the clerk on all the parties that are remaining. That was filed on the 23rd of July. The comments were the non-participation in the program. That's a week later, 2 weeks later, give or take. And then another week after that, we've got a motion for final judgment, man. We're not screwing around. 8/14/24, we're ready to take over possession of this property. We're going to get it to sale. So here's the attorney will lay out everything that's happened in this action so the judge can read it very succinctly. And of course, they'll cite lots of, case numbers or statutes and all that stuff. But essentially, they're going to say, listen, we filed the lawsuit. We filed all the answer. We served all the parties. They either answered or they were defaulted out. And here we go. We're going with our summary judgment. A summary judgment means there's no issues at law that the judge has to decide. So there were no hearings before this motion for summary judgment. So there were no hearings for them to decide on, no events that they had to concern themselves with. So they're going to go for a motion for entry of final judgment summary procedure right now. So that means they're moving to go. So let's see, what do we got? So we've got so here's all the affidavits of attorney's fees, affidavit of indebtedness. So you can tell once you start seeing all the affidavits, we're getting ready to go to final judgment because the judge wants to see how much you're owed, who you are, if how much you're asking for is reasonable, and then you put it in writing, and the judge decides, and they generally will agree with the attorney. So whatever the association is looking for, in this case, they're looking for 9217. That's going to be the principal amount in the final judgment. That's what they're looking for, is 9217. So let's see what we got so far. So here we've got notice of hearing, affidavit, motion, and then here's our final judgment as it's entered. And there's the sale date right there. They're going to in the final judgment, they're going to put the sale date. And here you can tell the fact that it's 60 days away, give or take. I don't think that's a mistake. I think the judges are given 60-day sale dates, which back in the day that was unheard of. But listen, we're just following the rules and telling you what they said. So this one's got it all going on. We've got, here's our findings of facts. You want to read that? It'll tell you exactly what the plaintiff wants you to hear. Okay, so here's all the things that they asked for. Delinquent balance as of that date, 10,000. These are all their fees, and they're going to get all the fees that they could get. They're going to get. And here's how much the attorney gets for his work. Well done, $3,600. That's good work if you could get it, I'm sure. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just telling you that's how much they're getting. Okay, so the total, because there was a credit somewhere, $11,700. So that's most likely going to be the opening bid, and there's the sale date right there, 12/3. Here's the property address information. Let's just see. I always have a little question that I'd like to ask of the final judgment, if whether or not the judge is going to make us get another hearing if we have to get a writ of possession. I don't want to bore you with that, but if I bump into it, I'll tell you. If I can't tell it, okay, here it is. Jurisdiction of this action and of the parties is retained to further enter further orders and proper, including without limitation, writs of possession and deficiency judgments. So this order is prepared by the plaintiff's attorney, and they submit it to the judge for his signature. Let's see, if defendant or other person in possession refuses to vacate the premises on the issuance of certificate of title, a writ of possession shall therefore be necessary. This court may enter an order granting without further notice of hearing. So that's good news, because if you have to enforce your writ or enforce your CT and have the sheriff go out and get the people out of the house, this judge or this order doesn't say that they need to have an additional hearing, because every time you send your lawyer to court, it's going to cost you money. Every time you have to set a hearing, it's going to cost you money, because it's going to cost you time. So this one is a good one, at least from an investor's point of view. So let's move on and see what happened. I think this one went to sale, didn't it? Okay, notice the sale. Okay, now here we have a motion motion to cancel the sale. Let's see who did this. Plaintiff's motion to cancel and reset the date. Okay, so the plaintiff, they had a reason they want to request a sale date change, and they can do that if they'd like. And if you're a foreclosure investor, it's always good to check in on the docket sheet before the sale takes place, because you can see if the sale got canceled, because you don't want to go to work on properties that are ultimately going to get canceled. I think we'll all agree with that. So there's a notice of cancellation of the hearing, order rescheduling the sale 4/8. So that's when our new sale date was supposed to be, and I'm sure it went down already. Notice of filing, they're just filing something with the court. Let's see, what are they filing, Rob? Proof publication. Okay, so proof publication has still got to be filed, which is good. And back in the day, the big newspapers used to do it, but now they price themselves out of the market. Now they go to the Jewish Journal or Billy Bob's fishing magazine to publish, because all they have to do is have the published sale notice on newspaper print. So whatever the cheapest newspaper is, that's where they're going to be advertising the sale. So let's see what happened here. Okay, so here it looks like this was a bid sheet, and it is. Okay, so this is a bid sheet. If you want it, and I suggest you learn to track where it is, it's going to be in the docket sheet, and you want to get the bid sheet, because this will, when you get deeper into this business, you're going to want to know who the bidders are. And when you bid live at the sale online, all you see is the bidder number. You don't see their name. So I always like to put a name with a number. So I keep track of that stuff. Benji Sperling, he's been investing in real estate since Jesus Christ was a corporal. I'm telling you, he's been around here a long time. He's been around here just as long as me. So these are all the people that bid, and these are their high bids. So as you can see, we're going up and up and up and up. Let's see where we're finally going to get to. Okay, so Home Outlet Group, LLC, they were the prevailing bidders. So I want you to take notice here. Excuse me, let me get something to drink. I want you to take notice here. The total amount that they bid was 130,100. And there it is right there, 130,100. And they put 5% down, but these fees are huge. Your dock stamp, 70 cents per 100. That's standard. But the clerk's fee, that's like having another partner having to cut that check. But it's all going to come out of your deposit. Home Outlet Group, Mr. Wesley Senzel. And interestingly enough, he has a very low bidder number. And generally, when I see a low bidder number, that means that they got their bid number when they first started operating online auctions. So that means this guy should be pretty seasoned with 5162. I think my number has 4 digits in it. I don't remember anymore because after a while you just go through the motions. So anyways, I think I picked this out because I think something else happened on this one. There's the bid amount. And here's the clerk. There's no little green thing for me to click onto, but look what it says. Comments. 125,000 plus the clerk's fee not paid. So what happened to this guy is he got into it and then he decided, oh no, I don't want this one. I made a mistake. So he did not pay. He lost 5%, which is not going to kill you, but it's better. I mean, it's better losing it now than a stick in the eye. And here's the plaintiff's attorney a couple days later, and they're asking to reset the sale date. So it says the third party bidder has defaulted on their winning bid. The sale will need to be reset. So they just decided that they made a mistake. They did. And the reason they made a mistake is there was a giant first mortgage that the bidder failed to consider when they made their bid. Now you say to yourself, Rich, how does that happen? In all honesty, it's just a mistake. I think there's a lot of investors that are getting way too comfortable and they're not doing title searches. So this is a condo foreclosure. The assessed value was 227,000. 227,000 is what it was. But there was a $200,000 mortgage on it. And the investor bid 130,000. So that's 330,000 that this thing is mortgaged, and the assessed value is not there. And I'm not using real values. I'm just using ballpark numbers, but I think you get the idea. This investor bid 130,000 on something he thought was worth well over 200,000. And he's a low bidder number too. So that surprised me that he made this kind of mistake, but he did. And there's nothing he can do except for walk away. Now I'm ready to move on to the next case. Does anybody have any questions about this one?
Rich, I have a question.
Sure.
I'm a little confused because in the very beginning, you started off as a HOA foreclosure, and then it turned out that it was an actual foreclosure for the real estate. Is there a difference on just being going after the foreclosure on the HOA versus going to the foreclosure on the property?
No, I must have made a mess of that. As many years I've been doing this, I will conflate certain things like condo association, HOA. This here was clearly a condo. You can call it whatever you want. That's why the number is so small, because they were only foreclosing the amount that was due for assessments. Because it was a mortgage foreclosure, the final judgment would be a lot higher. For instance, in this one, the mortgage on this property is 200,000. So if it's a final judgment in foreclosure for a plaintiff mortgage foreclosure, then it'd be 200,000. So this one here, you saw that the amount that they were asking, or they in their final judgment, was really small in comparison to the value of the property. Let's go back to it. Yeah, their opening bid was 11 grand and change. So you got to know there's something up. You have to do your title search to make sure there's no mortgage, and it's okay to buy a condo lien foreclosure, as long as you know that there's a first and B how much it is.
Right, because the first lien holder will always come first. So if you bid that amount, then the foreclosure the first lien could always come back, right?
The first mortgagee doesn't get affected in any way for this sale.
Okay,
So
thank you.
yes, not only can they come back, I'm gonna say 99% of the time they do. And this gentleman who bought this house, he realized that he should have got a title search too late, but at least he didn't make his final payment. So he
Right.
saved himself, well over 125,000 bucks by doing a title search, but he just did it a little bit late. Anything else before I move to the next case? Okay. Okay, this next case, this one's kind of fun. There's all kind of stuff going on with this one, and it's going to touch on many avenues of foreclosure investing. So I'll go to it, but it's going to make me. I've been signed out. Watch. Yeah, I knew you did that. Okay, so give me a second, please, to pull it up. 2024 CC 017. Those of you that attended my live foreclosure training, I guess about a month ago, we had a we spent a Saturday going over this stuff, and this is one of the cases. This is one of my favorites. Okay, so it's Cobblestone Homeowners Association, so we know it's an HOA. They're the plaintiff, and you notice there's not even a second mortgage on this thing. So it's going to be an HOA versus Jolly Thomas. All right, and I got to get past the front because there's all kind of things going on in this case. It's actually very interesting. Okay, so I'm not going to bother with the complaint because the complaint is the same as everything. It says that the defendant that's living in the house is not making their payments. We're going to foreclose because we're entitled to the unit if you don't make the payments. That's essentially what that means. And that's what all this stuff does. Anything before the final judgment is saying essentially just that they owe me money, they didn't pay, and we're coming after it. We'd like the court to set a sale date. So here we go. Let's see what the final judgment amount was. Okay, final judgment. Has all the standard language in it. And here's how much there. Look at this. The poor lady is losing this house for $5,500. That's it. And look, it's even her assessments are only 1,600. So the sad thing is she's losing this property for $1,615, a poor thing. But don't fret for her because at the end of the day, you're going to see she's going to end up in the best position that she possibly could be. And now you say, Rich, is there a good position after you're getting foreclosed out? Yes. This lady is going to land on her feet, and you're going to see how as soon as we get to the top of the docket sheet. Okay, so we got our final judgment. It's 5 grand. They set the sale date. Here's the sale. Notice the sale, March 26th, blah, blah, blah. Now we've got some other money that the plaintiff's attorney is trying to add on to the final judgment. Affidavit of post-judgment costs, February. So the court awarded a judgment of 5588, but that wasn't enough because we had other costs. There's more interest, attorney's fees and stuff. So they're going to add the other $234 on there. So just know that when you're dealing in this business, if there's attorney on the other side, and there always is, that clock is always ticking. The clock is always ticking. All right, so here, this is our bid sheet. Of course, this is not the bid sheet that we see when we're online. You have to come to the docket sheet to see it. And here we go. And we open up with $100 and we're off. So everybody's bidding on this thing like there's no, oh, sorry. These are listed deposits. These are their bids. So Fang Huang, 80,000. And now we're going up a little bit. We're going up. Mr. Hernandez builds it up to 110. Mr. Bourdi, 21, 25. Okay, now we're ticking. Okay, now we're talking big numbers. And now we're going to slow it down a little bit. And let's see who the winner is. The winner is Ayura Bordai for $185,100. And if you guys took the other class, I beat the living hell out of this company, Gateway Properties of Tennessee, because these guys, well, we're going to get to it. So and he ends up that Gateway Properties of Tennessee, they shouldn't be in our county or state buying stuff. And maybe this one will teach them a lesson. Let's see what happens. So Gateway, they certificate. Okay, so they paid. Here it is. 178,600 was paid. Clerk gets their fees. Everybody's happy. They send a certificate of sale is what you get after you make final payment. Yes, here we go. And here, look at our name on the certificate of sale. Not that it's the same as a certificate of title, but it's something that you can keep track of. If you're keeping score, this is what you want to see if you're buying. If you're the winning bidder, you make your final payment, you get your certificate of sale, and everything is hunky dory. Okay, now let's see what happens. So now we have a certificate of disbursement. This is the clerk. They're balancing the books and they're suggesting how much money they have left over. So let's see what happens. So we've got total disbursements of so here's the amount of money that the association got. $5,839.33. So based on what was paid and what was dispersed, this is the surplus. $179,000 is the surplus. That is a giant number. Giant number. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what happened after that. Okay, so we've got our certificate of disbursement. The clerk is holding what, 180 grand. Now look at this. Owner's claim for mortgage surplus. Now this is a great thing because Jolly Thomas is now going to make 179,000 when she had no business making 179,000. And I'll explain it to you as we come up. But this is owner's claim for mortgage foreclosure surplus. I'm requesting surplus of that from that sale date. There's the property, there's the amount, and we want it to be payable to ICG Inc. as an assignee of the owner. Okay. So they're trying to say all the right things, send the money to this address because I'm the assignee of the owner. Now, this is possible. There is a surplus business that is run just like this. Lots of people do this. Lots of people do this. Now, this, on its face, looks like a claim from the owner. Okay? So the owner's asking for the surplus money. 8 days later, notice of appearance of counsel. Oh, that can't be good. Let's see what this is. Okay, so now we have somebody making a limited specific notice of appearance. He's the attorney for Jolly Thomas, and he's only making this appearance for the purposes of objecting to the fraudulent owner's claim for mortgage surplus. So he's alleging fraud, or actually the owner's alleging fraud, and the attorney is gonna do the dance for her. So he's on record as representing this defendant or this party, Miss Jolly, Miss Thomas, because she obviously didn't make the claim for surplus. Okay, so now let's see what's happened here. We've got comments. Somebody's objecting, and this must be the objection that the attorney filed. Owner's objection to claim. Yeah. So this attorney is coming out and telling the court that his client, Jolly Thomas, did not make a claim for the surplus. However, they are making a claim now, but the previous claim that was assigned to IMC or whatever that was, That was a fraudulent claim. Now, unfortunately, what's going to happen to the first person that made the claim is that nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. The state resources for chasing down guys like that is probably not a big number. And all they did was make a claim. So they're going to get away. They took a shot. The bad guys took a shot. Fortunately, somebody was paying attention on behalf of Jolly Thomas. And let's see what affidavit of claim, what that says. Okay, so here's a true owner's claim. And she's laying everything out. Here's my parcel number. Here's where I live. Here's my new address. Here's everything. And it was notarized. There's her true driver's license number. And it's submitted to the court via the attorney. So it's interesting to me that nothing has happened since May 11th. The attorney, if I was Jolly Thomas, I'd be on my attorney to collect my 175,000 bucks. But let's get back to the crux of why that 175 exists. Gateway Properties bought this house for what is it, 100 and what? 185,000. But there was a $230,000 mortgage on it from Miss Jolly. Now, she should have never got this money because Gateway Properties should have never bid this up this high with a $230,000 mortgage on it. So Gateway Properties didn't do their homework and they bid this thing up to a stupid stratosphere. But you know what's funny about it is that he wouldn't have had to go up this high if it wasn't for this guy. He was right behind him and he chased him all the way up. See, this guy was a bidder too. This Tal Avron, he was a bidder. But the two big guys are going to be Ira Bordet, and Manicura Mahanihanaha. So these are the two guys that forced this number way up. And Gateway Properties got to feel pretty good about it because they got all this action after it. Let me see. I think me and Ivanhoe even bid on this one. Let me get down to where the numbers are reasonable. Oh, I don't even know. Ivanhoe, did we not get our bid in? He's not here today. He's in New York. But yeah, I bid on this, but I think the high bid we were going to go to was 30 grand or something. We started and it opened up at 80. So yeah, for 30,000, it made sense if there's a $230,000 mortgage on it, but not if you're going to spend 100 and umpty dump number dollars. This was just an ignorant bid. And what it did, it created that huge surplus for Miss Jolly to make amends. She's gonna get her life back together because of Gateway Properties of Tennessee Inc. Now, if any of you guys know them, this is not the first time they screwed up, but I think I did see another sale where they did make amends and they stopped doing stuff. I mean, I might even have it in the stack. I'm not even sure. But does everybody understand how this investor not doing a title search, not understanding that there was a mortgage on this property, and if he bought the property at a foreclosure sale, he was buying it subject to that $230,000 mortgage, how that created the giant surplus for the owner? Does everybody understand that? I hope you get it because it's a very important rule when you buy foreclosures that you have to do a title search. You have to know how to do one yourself. When I say get a title search, I mean do the work yourself. Don't call your lawyer. Don't let him charge you $1,100 for a title search. Don't do it. Because if you plan on buying 20 properties, you're going to spend 20 grand on 20 title searches? No. You have to learn how to do it yourself if you're going to be an investor. If you just want to buy a one-off, you don't have to do that. Okay, I'm going to go to the next case. This was so fun watching this and breaking this down. I hope Miss Jolly gets her money soon. I mean, if I was her attorney, I'd already have my motions filed, but that's beside the point. So does anybody have any questions before I move on to the next case? I know somebody didn't get that. It's convoluted as hell. But if you say you did, you did. I trust you, and we're going to go to the next one. Okay. They're going to make me sign out again, aren't they? Boink. You think I'd learn, right? But I'm not gonna. Okay, case number 2024 CC 005. Oh, okay. Just like the other one. Here's all the parties. There's the plaintiff. Here's a defendant. And it looks like there's a second mortgage on this baby because the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development is stepping in. So they're a party. They have to be foreclosed out. And that's great. Okay, so let's go ahead. This one is funny as hell. This one I can't even stand it. Okay, here's the docket sheet. We're going to go to the bottom. I'm going to blow through it because all the stuff is essentially the same all the way up. Here's all my exhibits. Here's all the summonses. Somebody filed an answer. Okay, motion to amend the complaint. They must have missed something. Um, let's just take a look at that motion just to see what it is. Plaintiff's motion to amend the complaint. Subsequent case, ladder discovery, amended complaint, the name. So they found other people that are living in it right there. Or they got to name them as unknown people, unknown parties. So that's cool. Okay. Nothing's really crazy about that. Here's somebody's looking for an extension of time because they want to file an answer. And then they said, okay, we need it now instead of, oh, we're going to get an enlargement or extension. Okay, enlargement. Okay. So looking for more time to answer the complaint and everything is cool and nothing is going to stop the foreclosure. It's going to keep plugging along. Now we're going to get people defaulted. We're going to drop parties and let's get to the gist of this thing. Here's the motion for summary judgment. Here's all the hearings and the affidavits again. It all goes in order every time. And here's the final judgment. Final judgment. Let's see how much they're looking for. This poor lady's going to lose her condo for 4,300 bucks. But final judgment's 11,000. There's nothing we can do about that. So that's the number it's going to go to sale, 11,000 bucks for this unit. Okay, so let's see our bid sheet. Okay, these are everybody's deposits. And here's the auction, off and running, starting at 35,000. It's like a horse race. Everybody's bidding up a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, and they keep on going. Oh, and here's my favorite bidder, Mr. Greater Tennessee guy. Here he is. Here he's bidding the same number twice. He's not keeping track of his shit. Okay, so here we go. He wants this thing bad, and we're going to go to a fourth or fifth page of bidding. And the winner is going to be somewhere. Our boy, Gateway, Tennessee. Yeah, baby. He's all over it. And there's the same guy that was right up his butt last time. Our previous case. These two horses were the ones that were jockeying all the way to the end. Let's see if there's anybody else that involved. The reason I'm doing this is because these two idiots have not done their title search once again. Once again, no title search. And everybody else is all the same people. Okay. So they didn't do their title search. They bought this thing at 200,000 is what they paid. $200,100. That's a giant number for a unit that's worth 400,000. Okay? It's okay if it's worth 400,000 and there's nothing on it because you're at 50%. Isn't that great? But I got some bad news for you. There is a $636,000 mortgage on this thing. And when it comes to paying off their money, not paid. So they lost their deposit plus their clerk's fee because they didn't do a title search. But this time, they didn't pay the money and give a big surplus to the owner. This time they didn't pay, they defaulted, and Now the new sale date is going to be July 15th. That's the new sale date. Now, if you're an investor, please go to the sale and buy it at a number you think is reasonable. Personally, I don't think this thing is worth 400,000 anymore. Maybe it is, but I'm sure as hell not paying 200,000. I'm not going to pay much, especially it's got a $600,000 mortgage on it. This is the definition of being upside down. So you got to learn how to do title searches, peoples. That's something that's very important. We don't want to make a mistake like this. And whether you want to learn how to buy as an investor or you want to learn to buy just a one-off for your family to live in. Like I said, we have nice programs to accommodate you, but if you don't do anything else from this training, learn how to do a title search and learn how to establish value. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? What's this question? There is likely reverse mortgage to HUD. I don't care. You're right, Robert. There probably is. There's something there, but it's to the tune of 636. And unless you're going to address it with a payoff, you're buying this thing subject to that big mortgage. So nobody's making money in that case. So, okay. All right. So listen, we're getting close to 8. I don't want to do any more. That was a final one. I'm hoping that somebody has some questions I can stay after. Does anybody have any questions? You can speak up. I think I can hear you. If not, drop them in the chat.
I have a quick question, Rich. It's Gracia.
Who is it, Gracia?
Yes. I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself or not, but can you show everyone how to find not a deep title search, but just to basically find that mortgage that they missed, just this one?
I don't have the book and page.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, I would have to look it up by book and page, and if I had it, I'd be able to show you. But no, it's and it's not just easy to find it. You have to match it up with satisfactions and things like that. So I don't think I've done a title search yet. I'm sure we'll do a title search class, but it's probably going to be at the meeting before the meeting because I can bang it out in a half an hour if we're live.
Okay, just wondering.
So that's what we'll do. Before we go, I want to mention that we have our next meeting coming up. Somebody help me. July what?
10th.
Our next meetup is July 10th. I don't know who the speaker is. Contact Gracia or Jackie for more information. Also, at that meeting, I'll be doing my meeting before the meeting class, which is part 2 of my final judgment business class. If you've ever wanted to buy final judgments or thought about investing in them, you're making a mistake by not coming. The training is free. I give you all the information you need. I know for a half an hour, right? I jam it in there pretty good. But the point is, if you've ever thought about buying final judgments, it's a great business to run in the background and it doesn't cost you hardly nothing. So if you want to do that, come to our meeting on whatever day Gracia said. Okay, anybody else? Oh, there's something in there. Oh, hi, Jackie. Okay, that's great. Anybody else have any questions?
Hey,
Jackie,
Rich,
you have a
this
question.
is Rick. I got a
Oh,
quick
wait.
question.
There's one here.
It-
Super lien exemption, where a portion of the HOA lien, usually 6 to 9 months, takes priority over the first mortgage. In rare cases, this can wipe out a mortgage, but Florida's not one of those states. Okay, did you bring that up just to fight with me, Jackie?
Can I just tell you something? I didn't want to disturb you before. Jackie is not in here. For whatever reason, there was a technical issue and 4 people came up under the name Jackie. I was one of them. I had to rename
Oh, so
myself.
you're the one that's trying to get in there.
No, I'm not doing anything.
Okay, there are things that are called super priority liens that
Rick had a question.
okay, let me finish with the super priority liens. Those are generally for bond issues that have been floated for parks or things like that, and they don't foreclose. They just hang on and they never go away. So I'm not sure I follow this, but anyways, if you ever run into it, let me know because I'd love to help you figure it out. You said you had somebody had a question, Gracia?
Hey, Rich, this is Rick.
Hey, Ricky.
Hey, Rich, quick question. When you buy one, let's say you're successful in one of these auctions, you buy one of these HOA liens. and you get it for a good price, what's your next step after that? Are you like trying to take over the property? What is the goal?
Okay, so so essentially what I did is I'm buying the condo subject to the existing mortgage. So before I'm going to bid on that property, I got to know what the status of that mortgage is. That's not always easy to get because unless the plaintiff or the mortgagee has filed a lawsuit, you can't get the number. And even if they did file the lawsuit, your number is going to be it's going to be darn close to what the payoff is, but it's still going to be a big number in my experience. But yeah, the best thing to do is if there's a foreclosure already filed by the plaintiff, you look it up and you got to find out what the number is because, like I said, that's the only way to find out what the number. You got to talk to the plaintiff, and they're not gonna give you an information because you're not authorized to receive that sort of information.
Gotcha. Okay,
So if you
thank you.
buy a condo lien, the first thing you do is pay off that first. Pay it off or start making payments so they don't foreclose on you and then figure out what to do with it. But this is all preliminary stuff that you have to do before you bid. You have to know it before you bid because you don't want to bid and then try to figure it out. Then because then you have to go ask Greater Tennessee investors.
And
Anything
if
else,
there is
Okay,
Ricky?
no
thank you.
mortgage, Rich,
Yeah, thank you.
if there is no mortgage on that,
I'm sorry.
if there is no mortgage and you want it, I think he was asking what's the next step after that? You're just the homeowner,
Oh,
right?
so there's no mortgage on the property.
If
And
there is
some
no
of
mortgage.
those go. So I've seen them, but they go pretty high. But yeah, if there's no mortgage, then you get CT, and you just go through the processes of removing the people that are occupying the property, get rid of possession, bring the sheriff out there, get them out, and then you're free to do whatever you have to do. Whether you want to resell it, repair it, move in, put your mom in it, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. It's yours now.
Bob, have a question? Or no, that's just something else. Sure. Yes, that's correct, Bob.
CT is certificate of title. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. It's because I sometimes blow over the stuff that the terminology I've been using for so many years. I apologize. Okay. Anything else? Anybody? Gracia, anything from your side?
Nothing on my end. Does anyone have any other questions? I mean, that's a lot of information.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Well,
great
listen, I hope you
information.
learned something today.
Definitely.
If you didn't, just learn how to evaluate property and learn how to do a title search. Again, if you want to buy just for your family and you want to deal with that 25-30% discount you get at the foreclosure sale, at Get Money, we got a program for that. If you want to learn how to be an investor and do this all day, every day, we also have a program for that. Okay, let's see. 2 new questions. Yes, sir. Thanks. That's it. Okay, man. So if we're all done, I'll see you guys next time, and I'll see you at the big meetup in July. Oh, one more question. Come on. I think. No? My chat is playing with me, man. You know what I mean?
Alexandra, do you have a question?
Who does?
Let me see if I can unmute. Can you unmute? I'm not a host.
Sorry,
Oh, there-
Richard. I was just wondering about when is this program that you were talking about? Like, how do I sign up for it?
Well, the best thing to do is to contact Gracia or Jackie,
Okay.
and they'll set it up for you to we'll have a conversation. We'll find out exactly what you want to do, and then we can go from there.
Okay. Thanks, Richard.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Okay.
Thank you everybody for coming. Again, learn how to establish value and learn how to do a title search before you become an investor. Very important. And don't rely on lawyers to do it, and don't rely on real estate agents to establish value because they can make mistakes. If you make a mistake, it's okay. If they make a mistake, it's not. Okay, Gracia, I think that's it. We're all done.
That's it. Unless anyone else has
Okay,
any
well,
questions.
thank you, Gracia, for coming on and helping me. You could tell I was struggling until I discovered you here with me.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks,
Okay,
Rich.
everybody. Thanks. I'm gonna
Thanks,
figure out how to
Rich.
get out of here. It might take me a minute, but
Thank you, Rich.
thanks. Thanks very much, everybody. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rich, go ahead and just hit end meeting.